What's up, guys? There are very few people that, in my opinion, you could take from an older era of basketball and transplant them into today's current basketball and them still be extremely successful. But that guy, to me, is Reggie Miller, the shooting guard for the Indiana Pacers for 18 seasons. Yes, you heard that right. He played all 18 seasons with the Indiana Pacers from 1987 until 2005. He was drafted 11th overall by UCLA, where he played his college career in 1983 to 1987. So I'm sure a lot of people here know who Reggie Miller is, and I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar with him. He's a commentator for TNT. He's, does a lot of stuff for basketball, but very few people fully understand how great Reggie Miller was, especially if you didn't grow up in that era in the 90s when Reggie Miller was playing. He was a great shooting guard. He was a tenacious guy. He was about 6'7", probably weighed $150, just scrawny as can be, but this dude was tenacious and he was a competitor. He was a great shooter, and up until Ray Allen came along, he had the record for the most threes when he retired. He currently sits at second behind Ray Allen, and we all know Steph Curry is more than likely going to pass him soon, and eventually probably Klay Thompson will pass him. But for Reggie Miller to have the record for the most threes when he retired in 2005, that really shows how ahead of his time he was. He was a catch-and-shoot guy. He could hit threes from all over. He had range all over the court. As soon as he stepped inside half court, he could knock him down. And this dude could just flat out play basketball. He led the league in free throw percentage 5 times. You heard that right. 5 times he had the best free throw percentage in the NBA. He was a 5-time NBA All-Star, 3-time All-NBA third team. He was a part of the 50-40-90 club in 1994, which very few players have ever been in the 50-40-90 club. He won a gold medal in the Olympics in 1996. He also won gold in the FIBA World Championships in 1994. And I just feel that Reggie Miller is just so underrated. It kind of makes me sick. I mean, you never hear anybody talking about Reggie Miller, especially in a game that we play today where it's three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. Reggie Miller was the first of his kind to really do that, and to shoot the three at a very high percentage, to shoot a lot of threes, even though by today's standards, Reggie Miller didn't shoot a lot of threes, but at his time, he was known for a knockdown three-point shooter. His career points, he averaged 18.2 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, and he currently has 25,279 points, which is 21st all-time in the NBA. So imagine all these greats that have came through the NBA, and he currently sits at the 21st spot all-time in scoring. It just speaks volumes of this guy. He had a great long career, 18 years with the same team. We never see that anymore. And, Reggie Miller was a class act on and off the court. And he became a household name in 1994 in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. He had 39 points in that game, but he had 25 in the fourth quarter. He sank several long threes, and the historic trash talking between him and Spike Lee. Spike Lee was a huge Knicks fan, probably still is today, but he was always courtside during the 90s when the Knicks were really good. Well, Reggie Miller just always seemed to put it to the Knicks. I don't know if it was Madison Square Garden or if it was just that heated rivalry, but Reggie Miller always showed up when the lights were on. So he was known for that in 94. And then also one of his biggest claim to fame is when he scored 8 points in 9 seconds in 95. That was also against the Knicks. So the Knicks grew to hate Reggie Miller because he was always pulling magic out of that hat, and he just always seemed to have it going for him. Reggie Miller has had very many shots over the course of his career where he single-handedly willed the Pacers to big wins. It just seemed like he was, Mr. Big Bucket. If you needed a big bucket, Reggie Miller could get it. And, I just really loved watching this guy play. I loved watching him shoot. He had that awkward shot. He was just super skinny and long. He didn't really look athletic, but this dude could go at it. He always wanted to battle with Jordan. He always wanted to battle with those studs in the 90s. He was never one to shy away from competition, and I think that's what makes him so great. He had that fiery competitiveness that you needed, and he played in a very tough time of basketball in the 90s when you had your Michael Jordans, you had your big men. It was the era of the big men, and for him to do so well during that time and even have records to this day, it speaks volumes about how great Reggie Miller was. But thank you for tuning into this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you like Reggie Miller. I highly recommend you check out some of his videos and some of his stats. He's a very fun player to watch. And that's today's video on the player spotlight for Reggie Miller. Thank you.